welcome to the show. I'm Max. It's the RHMax show channel deal. Today we have security AMA because I did a poll on YouTube asking if people wanted to happen, and 70 to 80% of people said yes, they would be here. So, and it was quite, not a lot of us, but it's quite a few votes. So I'm waiting on you. Bring them in. Bring all of your people to ask their security questions and listen to me just go on about interesting things in security that I think are worth talking about. Wait a minute or two. I'll just talk for a second before we get into the first one, which I think is interesting, which is, we could talk about wallet. So this is something that's came up, and I'll share the screen now. I'll drop the link in the chat if you all want to follow. Go to my blog. Never been there. Hello, HH. Welcome to the show. If y'all have never been to the blog, rhmax.org/blog. Not much of a website besides that. It's just kind of a landing page. But what's up, David James? I wrote a lot of different posts about a lot of different topics. So one of them in particular that's become relevant more and more recently has been the malicious smart contracts one. It kind of built upon the be vigilant on free claims. That was the first one. So being vigilant on free claims kind of goes through, I think this came out maybe around when PLSD was coming out and the weight contract and stuff like that from 0x Coast. And I just felt compelled, like, hey, as someone who has a background in security, let me go figure out this stuff. I don't have a lot of good answers for people yet, as far as, how do you figure out something safe to claim or what to do or how not to get scammed or hacked and all this stuff. So I went through and wrote a blog and tried to do as much research as I could on a bunch of different security stuff. Like that's what I really like to break down. I like to understand how people get hacked with these things, or what they do wrong, or what the different ways to attack people are, because that's the best way to defend against something, is to figure out how you can, attack it. And then once you know how to attack it, you know what to protect against, what things are actually possible. So then you can build defenses around that. Kind of security 101 in a way. But a lot of people, I hear this on Twitter, don't do this, don't do that. But you're kind of just going off on what other people say, which is fine if you're not an expert in that area. But, having expertise in a lot of different areas in security, I try to figure out the ground truth. Like, hey, how does this stuff actually work? How do the attacks actually work? And what defenses are good to stop them from the attacks from being successful. So being vigilant on free claims, I'll drop in the chat as well. That goes hand in hand with the malicious smart contracts one. This one is more about free claims and about different things that ERC20s can do and how they work, and different features like permit, EIP 2612, stuff like that, which is pretty interesting. And then talks about how to disconnect your wallet from dApps, revoke permissions, a lot of stuff like that. And this came out around this same time as me talking to Hex Existentialist from the PulseTube. Shout out to them. Great website. I was literally checking pulsetube.com/live, thepulsetube.com/live, to see if anyone else was streaming around this time, which they were, unfortunately, but whatever, because I try to do my weekend streams where other people don't, overlap, but yeah, can't be perfect on these things. But I was talking to him about it. There's also a clip from, you search RHMax free claim, something like that. You'll come up with some security stuff that we talked about as well. Again, figure out if has the contract been audited, things like that. And then verify the contract function, works as expected. Again, a lot of stuff you can read the code. This is kind of like going through the ways that how you yourself can figure out, do these things have these critical vulnerabilities, or that are obvious, super obvious, things like that, or do they look safe enough to try, and you don't have to rely on just someone in the community's analysis or otherwise. So that's being vigilant. So the malicious smart contracts one, this is something I read a little bit later. It really goes into what are the different, because the question was for me, what are the different ways that smart contracts can attack you, or like, how can people write malicious ones? What can they actually do? What does it take to get hacked with dApps and stuff? What buttons do you need to click? Can you just go to a website and it just drain all your wallet, all your funds from your wallet? Short answer to that is no. That is not. It's not how that works. But however, in the middle of doing this, I did come across something that was super interesting. I was talking to Alex from Hedron during our conversation a month or so ago, right when ICOSA came out, and Watsa NFTs. I heard you all like those NFTs. Trivia will be coming up in a bit for that. Interesting thing came up that I added to this blog as well. So I kind of keep it up to date. If I come across something that's interesting security wise, I'll kind of add it to this blog. So if you've seen it before, you may see something new in here. If you just kind of, refresh and go through it every few weeks or so, I've added a couple things to it. But one of the most interesting things that I really wanted to get clarity on, I really wanted to know more about, was, about the signing transactions. So Alex and I talked about this a little bit. I asked him for references to this. He gave me at least one of these threads, and then I kind of went down the rabbit hole. But on approval contract, so this part of the blog talks about what does badness look and feel like. So this is like, how do you identify these types of malicious contracts? So the approval contracts, I kind of put it under this because I'm not sure if it fit anywhere else. But they also, it could be in a thing where you get a prompt from Metamask or something, you go to a website and it says, sign this transaction. So you do this, if you ever used Uniswap to trade and maybe OpenSea and other stuff, a lot of times you need to sign transactions in order to trade certain coins or let them do approvals or transactions on your behalf. So you need to be very, very careful when you do that you're actually talking to the right website. Again, if there's any kind of red line through it, or your browser is telling you something crazy on the address, super, super double check these things. You're talking to the right website, you're talking to the right dApp, that it is the right one and it hasn't been a hacked website or a malicious URL or something. Because if you do sign transactions, there are attacks where they can take stuff from your wallet. And here's one of the threads that came up. Did you know a simple signature in MetaMask can drain your wallet? So again, the meme is go to a website, it'll drain your wallet. It's not actually true. You can't just go to a website and then all your money's gone. But when you go to websites, what usually happens is you start clicking buttons. Maybe something pops up. It asks you for approval, asks you to sign something, whatever. Oh yeah, I want to use the website. Let me just do it. Be very careful and don't just jump the gun. Don't just click, because you could have went to something that looks like a website that you're familiar with, but it's not the right one. So the best way to do it is, and we'll come back to this in a second, but the best thing to do, if you can double check the contract address. Let me go through. So I'll talk about it here. Go through and check the contract address MetaMask shows you with the legit contract address on Etherscan. So if you go to a website, you're interacting with the dApp, it wants to talk to MetaMask, it wants to talk to your wallet. One of the best ways you can get around getting attacked and wallets drained, all this stuff, is to go to Etherscan. First, find a legitimate contract address. Maybe that's on Etherscan. Maybe they have a verified button or approval or check mark or something beside it. Or go to the Twitter official, the official account, stuff like that. And get the contract address, put it into Etherscan, and then take that official contract address and compare it to the one that MetaMask is telling you wants to get approvals or sign something or wants you to interact with in some way, and make sure they are the same. If they are not the same, you're not talking to the legit contract. What do you think happens if you're not talking to the legit contract? You're talking one that's not the one you want to talk to. And that could be the one that wants to take your money. So simple signature MetaMask can drain your wallet. This is interesting because they kind of go through it here. Quite afternoon when Joe noticed, almost 500K of USDC left his wallet. That is a horrible feeling if that happened to anyone. Assuming he's not a billionaire. Maybe it doesn't feel that bad if you're a billionaire, but to most people, that is a lot of money. And then, Joe was confused. Joe's probably good with security overall. They didn't know, he didn't know like what happened. Why would all the money be gone? And things like that. And this kind of goes, I'll post a link in the chat too, so you can follow along. I'll get to chat in just a minute. And if you're asking questions, I will queue them. I just want to get through this one real quick. Appreciate it, everyone. Share the link, by the way. Tag me on Twitter. Share the link. Retweet, all that good stuff. Because we will be giving away some an NFT in a bit. So this is, again, it goes through the technical stuff too, the different functions that are used. And a step, I know if I explain this, it's not gonna, it's kind of go in one ear and out the other to a lot of people. But the moral of the story is they went through line by line of how this actually happened. Basically, they made an approval, they signed a transaction to a contract that wasn't a legitimate contract. And I guess they signed a transaction that was like grant unlimited spend to USDC, something like that. And that can happen. So like clicking one button. So there's no go to a website, steal all your money, but there is a go to a website, click one button and steal your money. So think of it that way. So to the common internet user, that may be the same thing. But I just, as a security person, I always kind of cringe when people say, oh, go to a website, it'll drain your wallet. Not quite the case, but yeah, it is that one extra step. So especially if you're going to a website, I say again, if you're going to a website that you go to all the time, maybe it's Uniswap, maybe it's Matcha, maybe it's, some DApp, maybe it's, websites that we use a lot, the iCoast app, the Hex app, stuff like that. If somebody sends you to a website that's either hacked or a website that's fake and trying to look like the real one, use Etherscan, compare the addresses, or use their wallet or use a wallet that you do not care about. Don't do anything serious with your wallet that has money in it until you double check these things. So that's one that goes through it. And then the other I'll drop in the chat is really interesting too, from the technical side of it, how this stuff works. Can your wallet be drained? So this SMS? Yes. So this came across an advertisement for NFT drainer tool site. Wow. I wonder if that's actually like a site that's talking about this stuff. No transactions are approved. They only sign a simple message. Yeah. That's a good point too. It's not just approving a transaction. That's the comments, when we talk about these things, it's like, don't approve transactions that you're not sure about. Yes, that's true too. But this one, it's not even a transaction approval. It was, they signed a message. They signed something that could make something else happen. And yeah, that led to, money being able to get stolen. He goes through the code, and I went through the code a little bit too, trying to find these different types of messages and stuff like that, why this would actually work that way. And it kind of goes pretty deep into Ethereum, and it goes through, some really technical aspects of it to try to figure out like, why is this even possible? Of course it's usability, why it's possible, but like, again, trying to study how these attacks work and trying to figure out, is there a setting I could turn off? Is there some type of transaction that I always need to look out for? And I think in this one, it says signing logic for both eSign and personal sign point two. Now, one of these he talks about, let's see, one sec. I think one of these you can see it's like got a null something, I believe, which may be able to help you recognize these transactions in Metamask. Yeah, can't remember exactly, but he talks about some different signs that like, okay, if it's got these two things, then you might be able to know prefix at the beginning, must begin transaction. Yeah, so go scroll through this at your will and to read it, try to understand it and stuff. But there's some interesting notes in here on how these attacks work. But the biggest thing of all, make sure that before you interact with contracts or dApps, even if it's a website that looks like the one that you're always using, it could be a fake website, look at the contract address. Look at it, type it in a MetaMask, check the Twitter, double check the thing. Just like when you do sacrifice phases, there's multiple places where they have the one address where you would send the funds to. You should do the same thing when you're using dApps that involve you actually spending some money and using a wallet that has some funds in it, like that, ideally. So that is what I want to talk about in this part. I will leave it up and I will go back to chat here for a second, and then we will talk some more. BRS, nice to see you. Appreciate you. One sec, I'll say hi to Selt Hex and take a drink, and then I will go back. Again, share the link, everyone. If you want me to stay on here more than an hour. Plan on staying here 45 minutes to an hour. But 1 sec. 15 minute mark. 2. Okay. So what's up, Game On? How's it going? All right, drink and I will look at questions. If you have any questions, put them in the chat. I will put them in queue, and then we will get to trivia in maybe about 15 minutes or so, where you could win your own WotC NFT. We love those WotC NFTs. They ain't making any more of them. They stopped making them. About 22,000 in the world, and they accrue ICOSA. And if you like ICOSA, you might want to have one. Could you summarize the true value of a hardware wallet? I might be able to do that. So a hardware wallet, for one, it reduces your attack surface. So instead of having a computer that could have a keylogger on it, or you could get malware on it or whatever, you have this little tiny computer, which is kind of like it's more locked down than a regular computer. Than I guess the analogy is kind of like a phone. You know, the phone, you have an app store and stuff, but you can't just put whatever apps you want on a phone unless you turn off a bunch of the security features, which are there for a reason. But, you know, developers need to do that to test things. So instead of running, you know, Windows, which everyone runs, which, you know, if you've seen these before, if you've been to security AMA before, you know, I say use a Mac or use Linux over Windows. Windows is you're asking for trouble if you're using crypto in Windows. It's just the way it works. There's just too much attack surface going on. Ask me more about that if you want me to explain why running Windows and using crypto is a bad idea. But I'll just say that for now. So the hardware wallet, it reduces your attack surface because instead of a general purpose computer where any kind of malware has 1,000 ways to get on there and run its programs and steal your keys and copy your keyboard and all that stuff, they try to take a really small device that only runs the wallets. It only runs like, you know, specialized program that's been security tested and audited and all that stuff as much as possible. And it prevents a lot of the attacks that are, so for example, if malware gets on your computer, on your regular computer, and you have your wallet open and you're doing transactions, you know, there's attacks where you think you copy an address of where you want to send it to, but they switch that address to something else. And so when you paste it in, even though you copy and pasted, it'll paste the, you know, malware address or something, and you send the funds there to trick you. Or if they have control over your computer, they just, you know, and you have your wallet open and unlocked and things like that at some point when you're using it, then, you know, they can just move your mouse, move your keyboard. They can control your computer. They can do anything you can do on it, and they'll just send the funds to the attacker's address or whatever they want to do. So the hardware wallet basically gets rid of all that attack surface. They're like, nope. You know, if you want to send a transaction, you need to physically click a button. You need to confirm it like that in Metamask. You know, there's no malware that's going to get on the device. Even if malware is on the computer, the transactions, you know, won't go through unless, you know, unless the attacker comes in your house and gets your hardware wallet and unlocks it and clicks approve and all this stuff, which at that point, you know, all is lost, right? These physical attacks where, you know, they can get, if they can get a control of everything, then, you know, they can do anything you can do. So it's the same thing with anything in the world, unless you split, you know, all the stuff between other people and things like that. But anything where if it takes one person to do any operation, then that one person can be emulated by another person who wants their money, for example. If they do enough work, you know, they get physical access, they get remote access, they get whatever. So that's why, you know, splitting your seed words into multiple pieces or multiple people or multi-sig and requires more than one approver and all this stuff is a game changer security feature that unfortunately not many people use, except big organizations, thankfully, with a lot of their storage stuff, I guess. So the true value of a hardware wallet is that. And I would say that indirectly it helps you trade less, because now, well, I mean, trading on exchange obviously doesn't do anything for that, but if you trade, it helps you stop trading on a DEX if you need to get your hardware wallet out, all this, because you know, you shouldn't have it. probably shouldn't have it plugged in all the time. And you shouldn't be trading crypto that often anyway. So it kind of helps you psychologically create more work in order to access your funds and trade and not save yourself and all this stuff too. So that purpose, what else I got? Let me pull up the blog and see if there's anything else on hardware wallets. Let's see. I know I wrote a little bit about them in here, I think. Maybe in free claims. Okay, hardware wallets help. This was talking about free claims. So hardware wallets don't help against free claim type attacks. Not really. Not the ones that are talking about allowances and like some security stuff there. They do greatly reduce your attack surface, help keep your private keys more secure. Again, protect you against malware in a lot of ways. Yeah, I thought I talked about hardware wallets somewhere else in here, didn't I? I definitely talked about them in a previous video, in a previous AMA, maybe the last AMA, maybe. By the way, I'll just drop this in real quick. If y'all are unsure about if you want like a free online antivirus scanner where you literally give them a URL or you give them you upload a file that you downloaded before you run it to check to see if anyone's reported it as being malicious, browsertotal.com is awesome. You can use that. Just Google. Ask me if you want me to elaborate on how it works and stuff. But it is great for like before you download something and run it. If you give them the URL of where you downloaded it, or you upload the file itself to them, they'll check the hash. They'll check a lot of different features. They'll run it these cloud antiviruses to see if it's malicious. And then if they say, okay, like 5 antiviruses reported this as being suspicious, then maybe don't run on your computer, or maybe you run it in a virtual machine, things like that. So VirusTotal is great. It's also Palo Alto Network's URL filter that can do some stuff too. Let's see. Yeah, just don't use Windows. Do not use Windows with crypto. I don't even use my phone with crypto. And I think my phone is much more secure than Windows. So that's how much faith you say I have in Windows. One note I'll say about hardware wallets, or they're not foolproof. So like that's a question too. Why doesn't everyone use a hardware wallet? 3 reasons. One, or I guess first of all, why doesn't everyone use hardware wallets? And second, why don't hardware wallets solve all these problems? Every problem you could possibly have in security. So for one, they cost money and they cost brain power. You have to understand how to use them. They can make them as simple as possible, but you still need to get people over the hump to actually know that they need it and want to use it and all this stuff. And everyone's like, oh no, I'm just a casual crypto user. I don't need a hardware wallet. I don't have a lot of money, all this stuff. Very easy to talk yourself out of using a hardware wallet, spending time, energy, stuff. I get it. Totally get it. That doesn't help you be more secure, but I understand why most people don't do it. Again, it's work. So you got to be motivated to do work. If you've never been hacked before, then maybe you're not that motivated, stuff like that. So unfortunately, sometimes it takes, an incident or a near incident to motivate you to start doing stuff like that. Number 2 is they're not foolproof. I'll actually drop this video in here too. Now that I'm not saying this to scare anyone away from using hardware wallets, but if someone gets physical access to your hardware wallet, it is possible there's certain attacks where they could get at your seed phrase and compromise it in some way. So a lot of people like paper wallets or metal wallets and stuff like that because you can distribute them, you can put them into pieces, you can do stuff like that. I think there's some new features coming from the hardware wallet manufacturers that let you scatter stuff too. Maybe that's a thing, but anyways, that's they don't work for everything, and there's other like higher level security stuff that can HSM models, hardware security models. There are different vendors that a lot of cloud providers use that do like military grade security, like actual military grade, not the commercial military grade. So they're not a panacea. They don't solve everything, but they do help the casual user not click through getting hacked. Just like the malicious smart contract stuff. You can't go to a website and automatically drain your wallet, but you can go to a website where you click through a prompt, or you click a button, or you sign a transaction, and it can do stuff like that. So, Ziggy Hex Desk, no, you did not. Giveaway probably in 5 or 10 minutes or so after I get through the next section or the next question. What is happening, sir? Glad you could join us. DJ says you are good. Sniff. I'll get back to you. I'll scroll up to the questions here in a second. I just want to go through chat to make sure I stay within context. If anyone has questions on what I just said too. Can a ledger be recovered after loss? Is it secure? So that's kind of, if you click on the video I just posted on YouTube, I think they do a Trezor ledger. I can't remember which one, but they go through. I'm going to post it here so I can see which one. Let's see. Crypto. Yeah. Trezor one. Yeah, that's the one. And this guy's legit too. It's not a fake video or anything like that. So can a ledger be recovered after loss? Maybe it's probably just better to. So different manufacturers have different. So Ledger can't help you with that. I'll say that. But if the question is, can Ledger, the company, help you recover your stuff after if you lose it? The answer is no. I'm almost certain, because that would be a backdoor, right, in some way. But I remember I was setting up a hardware wallet recently. I can't remember if it was a Ledger or Trezor, because I have a few different kinds of stuff that I test out. And they did have some feature where you could split it up. So if you, I can't remember what it's called. There's like some feature, but it's pretty cool. So that you can, if you have part of the seed words and you can choose what it takes in order to recover it, which keys and stuff, or which seeds, how many seeds you need to recover or something like that. But it's not with them. They just provide this feature. So I can't remember exactly how it works actually. I think I talked about this the last AMA when I was really fresh on the information, but there is a way to recover it if you lose part of the seed words. I'm pretty sure. Just Google for Ledger, recover seed words. I'm sure it'll come up. Is it security against falling in malevolent hands? So that's what I said on the video. When the link on the video, no, it's not. I can't say that it is based on the hardware hacks that I've seen come out against them. Now, should that change your mind about getting one and using one? No, because again, if you keep it safe, you keep it, away from getting stolen and all this stuff, then you're as good as a paper wallet. You're as good as a metal wallet, all that stuff too. And you get the key functionality of when I'm using Metamask, I get the extra protection and stuff like that. So I wouldn't make that say they're not useful, because they're obviously super useful. And I don't know how you could not recommend someone use a hardware wallet, but they are not foolproof and they can be hacked. There's all kinds of physical attacks against them. It's just a hard problem to solve. Like it's like a $1 billion question. How can you make hardware wallets 100% secure, or even 95% secure? It's a hard problem. I don't think we're gonna get there anytime soon, but they're pretty good at what they do. And they've got much better over the last 2 or 3 years, much better. Maybe that's it. Passphrase hidden wallets. Maybe that's a feature too. That sounds familiar that I was learning about a while back. Did I not send the link? Okay, no, I did. Okay. How do you use seed phrase obfuscation? Let me search. Seed phrase obfuscation hardware wallet. Will be object your seed phrase. I don't think this is the one I was looking at. Guys are asking a lot of crypto security questions, by the way, which I know a little bit about crypto security, but that is not my my day job. I'll say that. Good questions. I can't answer them all off the top of my head. But this is stuff you can Google for an hour or so and probably figure out. Yeah, I can't. Off the top of my head, I can't, because there's all these different features hardware wallet manufacturers provide, and I kind of get them mixed up from time to time. So I'm going to try not to talk about ones or go up on it that I'm not 100% clear of like how I can give you a very detailed answer about. So good question though. I just let's see. I meant to say, can you recover your lost or destroyed hardware wallet? Well, if you have the seed phrase, let's just type this in real quick. That might be a little bit better, Google. Can you recover your seed phrase? Because I know different manufacturers have different ways of doing this and different features they may provide too from hardware wallet. A lot of crypto assets are doing this. Yeah. So with the wallet itself, let's see. So, okay, apparently the ledger has recovery mode. That makes sense. Recovery mode, set your PIN code, add your seed phrase. Yeah, I mean, so if you backed up your seed phrase, I mean, it's not, your coins aren't stored on the physical wallet anyways, you know. They're stored. You're gonna have to do like how blockchains work 101 to maybe understand that if you don't at face value. But if you have your seed phrase, I'm just thinking of like, are there new ways to make this easier? But if you have your seed phrase, I mean, that is your wallet. Your seed phrase translates into your wallet, or access to that wallet. It's not even a wallet. You have access to that part of the blockchain essentially. So yeah, just that's why, you know, when you're setting this stuff up, it's asking you, you know, repeat your seed phrase, make sure you back it up, all that stuff. You got your seed phrase, you're good to go. Discuss why Windows is an issue over Apple. Yeah, so Windows is the operating system that all malware authors target because it is the biggest target. So malware people, when they're writing this stuff, they're writing ransomware, they're writing viruses, they're writing whatever it is. They want to get, you know, they want to cast the widest net in order to get the most people, to get the most computers, to get the most, you know, access to people's stuff. So Windows has what? And I'm going to look it up. I haven't looked it up lately. Windows OS market share. So let's see. What's it say? Windows. Can you just tell me the Windows market share? OS market share, is that where I was? Can you just give me a number? Blue. Why is this 28% over? Oh, because of Android. Okay, can you give me desktop OS market share? I don't care about mobile at this point. Okay, let's just go with 70%. That sounds right. So 70% of the market share. And, well, let me type in Mac then. Mac OS. Oh, gosh. They're not just an easy way to look at this stuff. Okay. Let's say it's 20%. Let's say it's 10%, whatever. So if you're writing viruses and you're trying to get the most amount of people, you're trying to hack the most amount of people or get them to, you know, do whatever you want them to do in order to get access to the computer. Maybe that computer joins a botnet. Maybe that computer you just want to look for other stuff on it, to lateral movement, all this stuff. You want to target the most popular operating system. It is the most popular. And that kind of skews the like security stuff too, because you could have an operating system that's not that popular and you never hear of any bugs in it because nobody's looking for bugs in it because it's not popular. And like, why would they? So the most popular stuff usually gets the most motivation from both malware writers, and there's plenty of you know, just security people, you know, doing research and trying to figure out bugs in order to, you know, talk to vendors or do whatever they want with them to make things more secure, or just study the different attacks, stuff like that. You're going to target the one that has the most market share. You're going to study and you're going to go through all the different ways to do that. And you're going to start attacking it. And it's just going to be the most attacked operating system ever. So if you're trying to spread this new virus, you're going to look online for people who go to these web pages. They go to your, you know, watering hole, you could say, of this web page, malicious website that you've set up. And you can identify them by their browser. You can say, okay, they're using this operating system because their browser is telling me this. And I'm going to try to hack those people because all the tools, all the stuff available, all the research, all the bugs, all the attacks, they're either known or they're private, but they work on Windows. Now, does that mean Mac is any more secure than Windows? No, I would not say Mac is any more secure purely than Windows. I would say that it does a better job in certain areas of security than Windows, but overall, Mac is just not going to be targeted as much. So if you run Mac or Linux, for example, you're not going to be in the 70% of people who are being targeted. You're not going to be in that group. You're not, if there's some website, malicious website meant for people who use Windows to click on and get hacked, you're not in that group. So you're not going to get hacked if they're only targeting Windows users. So it's kind of one of these psychology things too, of like, you're reducing your attack surface because you're not using the operating system that they're targeting. So is Mac more secure than Windows? Technically, no. Although I think there's some good features in it, although Windows has some other good features. But where are all the attacks? Where are all the viruses? Where are all the research? Most of it goes into hacking Windows. So if you want to be part of the group that has the most research on how to get hacked, you keep using Windows. But if you want to be on the group that's targeted much less research, there's still bugs and stuff in Mac and Linux, but much less than Windows because it's just not as popular, then you would use a Mac. And there's other like features and high level stuff you can go into too, but just mostly it is market share. Like there's got to be like a real world analogy. Like maybe if you go to a city that has high crime, like what would you rather live in, a city with high crime or a city with low crime? Like the Mac is the low crime one and the Windows is the high crime one, I guess in this way. If you live in the city with low crime, if you can choose to do so and everything else the same, you would choose that one because you don't want to be targeted by attacks and stuff. So Windows is fine. It works as an operating system. Billions of people use it for a reason. They all, most people get hacked on Windows too. So let's see. David James got seed phrase tattooed. Oh gosh. Maybe if you get like 3 or 4 of your buddies to get the tattoos and spread them out, maybe that'll be a security solution. Absolutely, Fijis. Absolutely. Hopefully I did a good job. It's hard to know which direction to go in some of these questions. Not your fault at all. I'm just like, I know a bunch of different perspectives, a bunch of different ways to go. And I'm trying to figure out what's most useful for you, like what you're going to get the most out of. So that's why I kind of waver from time to time. I'm gonna take a drink and we're gonna do the what's a giveaway, the trivia. But I guess since half the people just left, that just increases all your chances for winning the NFT. I would say tag everyone and share it out saying I'm about to give away the NFT, but that would not be in your best interest, would it? But whatever, it's fine. It's fine. I don't always do things in my best interest because I like helping the community. No, that's the cliche, but that's the way things are. So let me get through one more question and we'll do the giveaway. One more comment. So if you use a laptop with Metamask, migrate your private keys onto a hardware wallet and your private keys still on the computer, do you need to wipe it? Well, if they're still on the computer, and you don't want anyone who gets access to that computer to get to your private keys, then yes, you should wipe it or destroy it, because your private keys, seed words, all that stuff, they don't change. They're the same. So yeah, I would, if you're swapping, I guess the advice here would be, if you're swapping devices and stuff from another computer and you don't want that other computer to ever compromise your wallet, yeah, I would destroy the hard drive, for example, or just like never give it away. Put it like, don't. I guess the inverse of this would be putting the computer on eBay and not wiping it and be like, here's the password to the admin account, and don't look in the recycle bin. Like, yeah, don't do that. Take time. What's going to do? Yeah, of course. Again, when I say Google it for a minute, I'm just saying, like, off the top of my head, I don't think you guys want to see me sit here for 10 minutes Googling with you. Like, to me, that doesn't sound very interesting. But you can tag me on Twitter or hit me up afterwards, a DM. And if it's something interesting I can spend a few minutes on, I'll Google myself and try to provide an explanation or point you to a resource that explains it really well. I can do that. I can be that helpful. I can point you to a video that is explaining it better than I can. So I feel free to hit me up on Twitter and ask about that. Also, Windows breaking user permissions that are true in Linux. Yeah, user permissions are interesting on Windows. Mac is a lot closer to Linux in that way because they're POSIX compliant, sort of. And Mac is like Linux, but with a really, really nice GUI and a different kernel, but it works much more in a much similar way. Mac works in a much similar way to Linux than Windows. But Windows is something completely different. You go into Windows history and figure all this stuff out, but it is completely different. User permissions are different. The user accounts are different. The way it works is different. Very different under the hood. But all of them, it's just learning a different technique. Once you understand how it works, then you can understand how to attack it and how to defend yourself too. That's a lot of the research I did on this stuff. Jameson Lopp on personal crypto security. Yeah, there's a lot of good videos for people. Yeah, I haven't seen his, but I know he's a popular person in the industry. He probably talks about some of this stuff. Okay, one more, then we'll go on to the giveaway. Did we talk about different Wi-Fi network risk levels? Public versus home versus MOSFET? Yeah, good question. We haven't yet. We can talk about it. So Wi-Fi, obviously don't use anything that is public or you don't need a password for, unless, funny enough, and I always, if you all see me talk about this before, I have this thing against abusing VPNs. I'll say abusing VPNs because VPNs should be used for travel. They should be used for connecting, working from home, connecting to the office, as if you're on the same network from home. That's how they work. And maybe, change your IP address or whatever the features a lot of them provide. If you're using a VPN at home, I don't know why you would do that. Unless you want to change your IP address and make it look like you're coming from somewhere else or whatever. But then if you do that, you might as well just use a proxy server. I'm sure if you Google for free proxy servers, there's plenty of them you can use. You don't need to download this whole program and pay a subscription to do all this stuff. It doesn't do anything. It's that VPNs do not keep you from getting hacked. People don't hack you via IP addresses anymore. They hack you by going to a malicious website, all this stuff. Maybe 20 years ago that was true, but nobody's doing IP address attacks for clients. For servers, obviously a DNS name resolves into an IP address, which services are listening. Websites may be vulnerable, or web servers may be vulnerable to attacks, all this stuff. But public versus home versus mobile hotspot. I mean, again, using a VPN at home doesn't make sense to me. I would just use a proxy server if I want to hide my IP address or use a website that would mask it, which basically acts as a proxy server. And public, VPN sounds fine. If you're going to Starbucks at a coffee shop using a VPN, sounds fine to me. I would be very careful with connecting to ones that have no key and have no protection, unsecured Wi-Fi, stuff like that. If you're using a VPN, it does help a lot in that way, even if you connect to them. But I guess the way I look at it is, if I go to a place where it's not crowded, there's nobody using it, I'm in the middle of nowhere, blah, 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 I'm a little bit more lax with security than if I'm going to, Starbucks in downtown San Francisco where there's 1,500 people on it, or at the airport and stuff like that. I do not trust airport Wi-Fi. Traveling internationally, you kind of have to use it sometimes if you want to do anything, because you don't have, LTE. But I would say what I do is I try my best to use LTE, and I try my best to use cellular, and I just don't connect to Wi-Fi unless I absolutely have to, unless there's just no signal, or it's just horrible, or I need to work or download something. And then when you do that, these days, so again, 10 or 15 years ago, this was much more of a problem, because before the NSA, Snowden revelations and stuff, a lot of websites weren't HTTPS. They weren't. They were just HTTP, which means not encrypted. So if you're going to an HTTP website, that means people could see what website you're going to, what you're looking at. They could man in the middle attack you, stuff like that. As long as you don't click through that red box that says, "We can't verify this website. This is risky. Please don't do this." Yeah, As long as you don't click through that, you can be saved from a lot of that horror. And there's other browser features that are modern that kick in to help you too these days. So that was much more of a problem a long time ago. There's still attacks that can work. But just imagine that whatever Wi-Fi you connect to, here's a way to think about it. Whatever Wi-Fi you connect to, it's as if, would you let the people that you're in that coffee shop or in the airport or whatever, or the airport itself, would you let those people on your network and talk to your devices? If you believe that, there's only like 2 people using this, there's nobody around that's going to be attacking you, whatever. If there's like 2 people in the coffee shop versus 200 people, you can kind of adjust it based on that too. But most of all of these attacks, they require an out-of-date browser. I always say the most boring advice I can give anyone to prevent the most number of hacks you'll ever come across is keep your browser up to date and don't click through security warnings. If you do those 2 things, you are in the 1% of people not getting hacked. And if you have a Mac or Linux, if you have anything but Windows and you do those 2 things, you're in the 0.1% of people that have pretty good security. Keep your browser up to date. Don't click through security warnings. Those are the 2 biggest ways that people get hacked. So you just invert it. If you don't do those 2 things, you'll be much less likely to get hacked. Simplest way I can explain it. I'll leave my seaframe in the fridge. Please don't do that. Whew. Even if you watch who comes in your house, not a good place. Not a good place. But that's funny. Yeah, they burnt their WhatsApp before getting it. Yeah, I wouldn't be burning that WhatsApp anytime soon. Not financial advice, but it seems better not to do that right now and to wait. Delayed gratification. So trivia time. All right, everyone. Let me look at my trivia question. So trivia for today. I want you to complete this sentence by RH. So he has 2 different versions. This is a longer form version. This is a sentence that RH says a lot. He said before. Again, there's 2 different versions of this, but this is the longer form version of it. You may recognize it, you may not. I actually talked about this recently on Crypto Vince episode. So if you watched that episode, this should be fresh in your mind if you were listening during that part. So again, I'll give you 30 seconds to get ready. I'll talk to the chat real quick. Tag who now? Tag me. And I usually, when I have a guest, I usually say tag me and tag the guest and stuff. But no, you can just tag me or retweet the tweet and stuff like that. That doesn't help you get the NFT. I'm just saying that if you want more people to participate, or again, that's not your best interest. There should be the less people in here, the more chance you have to win. But anyways, what's up, Jaden? Glad you're here too, man. Glad to see you. Oh, I hadn't started yet, BR. Oh God, I hadn't asked the question yet, but you already knew. You already knew. Oh, I'm such a nice guy, aren't I? You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna give you another question. I'm gonna give you another. You won, BR. One-time exception. You won because I didn't even ask the question yet, but now I can't ask the question because you already said it. And I got to reward you because that was a very good answer that you knew exactly what I was going to talk about. Yeah, I know. Ragtime. Gifford, you showed up and cursed it, man. You showed up and cursed it. Oh, thanks for coming, Giff. Gifford may be here tomorrow. Who knows? Let me just ruin that one too. That's why I'm giving it to you, man. I'm giving it to you. BR, I'm giving it to you. BRS, I'm giving it to you. Okay, today on the RHMax channel, we're giving away two WhatsApp NFTs. One is going to BRS because he just reads minds. He just reads minds. And now I got to go to the other. Luckily, I have one more question prepared already. What clue? I said, okay, let me say what I said again. Was it really that obvious? Complete this sentence by RH. He has 2 different versions, longer. How is that? That's not much of a thing, right? Like who except BRS? He deserves it. You got it. All right, I'm going to say it. The only people who get rich in crypto are holders, founders, and exchanges. There you go. Yes, we have it. All right, I'm going to the other one. And I'm not saying anything about it beforehand. So if BRS, if you can act, by the way, BRS, DM me on Twitter and tag me if I'm not following you already. And then DM me your ETH address, and I will send you the ETH WhatsApp NFT. I'm not doing the other ones right now. I'm not doing like 3 transactions, whatever it is. We'll see. Like I said before, in 6 months, if they're still around and thriving and actually worth something, message me again. I can send it to you. It's not because I want to keep them. I won't pulse chain income. That's what I want. But DM me your ETH address, and I'll get it to you. Hello, good peoples. Welcome, Michael. You're just in time for the second WhatsApp NFT giveaway. I'm to go buy some more in OpenSea. I keep trying to do one at a time after I did 3 the first time. So anyways, everyone, here is the next question. BRS won the first one. He's a mind reader. We're going to see. So he's not eligible for the second one. I'll just say that. Even though, let me know if you can actually read minds. That may be a valuable skill. We can use you in this community for that stuff. That's good stuff, man. Y'all ready? Y'all ready for the next What's an NFT giveaway trivia question? The question is, what was the original number of years for the max length stake proposed in the Hex original spec? What is the original number of years for the max length stake proposed in the original Hex stake? And we have a winner. You guys must have watched the Dev Kyle one. Huh? Man, everyone won. Everyone won that one. So everyone watched that interview. That's good on you, man. There's nobody. Okay, God Lobster, you got 30. That's a good guess though. I'm shout out to God Lobster. That's a great guess because what's double. I swear I've heard 30 before. That's actually did Richard talk about 30 before? Because it's more like a home mortgage type of thing. He might have. That's a good guess. I mean, that's not. If anyone has more information about that, let me know. But recently the stream with Dev Kyle, who I hope to get on the show. I hope so. I have reached out. I'll tell you that. Because I think I can have a really good interview with him too, asking some good questions. I'll put some time in the prep work for that for sure. Rothko, you won. Congrats, Rothko. You were the first one in my chat. My chat's the only one that matters. I have to say that because people debated before. Oh, it shows up on my end. I won all this stuff. We have to go by one. It's got to be mine because that's the easiest one to verify, obviously. So Rothko, congrats. You've won a What's an NFT. DM me on Twitter. If you can't DM me, tag me. I'll follow you and then DM me and send me your ETH address and I'll get you your What's an NFT, sir or madam. Thank you very much. Congrats. Yeah, almost everyone got it. Yeah, good. Good. The first one I looked at was Big Kahuna. And I was about to say, oh, Big Kahuna won, but no, it was actually the one before him was Rothko. David James also got it. What's up? Rothko, yeah. I know. They are quick. I saw 50 come up a lot. Yeah, I know, right, God Lobster? I know. If I wouldn't have heard Dev Kyle say it, 50, I probably would have went with 32. So I'm with you, man. I'm with you. Yes, was a great stream. 11. I mean, that's a good number. I have 3 minutes behind buying Hex on ETH Fair. Good luck to you, guy mine. Good luck to you. Thanks, David. Good to see you, man. As the winner, I'd like for you to roll it over the next giveaway and give out a double. I mean, I can do that. If you don't want it, I can do that. Yeah, I can give it to the next person in line here, or I can give away 2 tomorrow. That's your prerogative. Let me confirm that. I totally can do that. That's very honorable of you too. Very nice. You must have a lot of What's NFTs. You have lots of NFTs. Unless you're joking. Is it a joke? Guymon thinks it's a joke. Let me know if you're joking or not. I guess we'll know if you DM me or not asking for it. So, I'm good, brother. No, there we go. Okay. Very, very nice of you. Everyone give Rothko a hand for that. That's very nice of you. Pass it on. I appreciate it. If I had a lot of What's NFTs, I'd probably be giving other people too, wouldn't I? Let you think on that one for a sec. No expectations of profit from the work of others. Yes, very nice of you. Celebrate Rothko for that one. That was cool. Well, now only problem is I have to come up with another trivia question for tomorrow, and now I got to come up with 2 trivia questions. Thanks, Rothko. You just doubled my work. Appreciate that. Just kidding. Just kidding. Just making a note. 2 trivia questions for tomorrow. If we do a stream tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific, if we do, you may have heard it first on here. Yes, indeed. Were there more? Of course, my pleasure. I mean, it's a lot of work and stuff, but I suck it up because I'm here to have utility. So if I can have utility, right? I'm not here. I'm like, that's what. If you were sitting there pondering, oh, what can I do in the community to help out? Like, talk to people, give them stuff, give them information, like whatever you can. I'm trying to embody it, for as long as I can. So that's why I'm here. Don't ask you all for anything except show up. I mean, I don't even ask you to show up. I just kind of tell you about it. I hope you show up. But anywho, I'm just scrolling through chat again, see if I missed any questions. I got a couple more. I got like one more thing to talk about if there's no more questions. But let's see. And then it's almost been an hour or so. Doing the AMAs, I kind of start losing my voice pretty early because I'm talking the entire time. It makes sense, right? I think that's UFO to go. What's up, man? You've been leaving a lot of nice comments and stuff on my videos. Appreciate that. And of course, attending. Appreciate it. Social distance. I'll go over one more thing. So how to trade more safely on EthW, EthFair, stuff like that. Use a new wallet. If you're going to be playing in the playgrounds of the Ethereum forks, Ethereum proof of work, Ethereum Fair, all that stuff, where there is Hex, maybe you want more Hex, maybe whatever, you want to sell it all, you want to buy more, whatever it is, use a new wallet. So if you're connecting to dApps with your old wallet to get your copies, obviously you have to do that unless you transferred them before the fork to a new wallet. That'd be really smart, wouldn't it? But nobody probably did that. Try to use a new wallet in every instance you can where it makes sense, especially if you're going to be buying and stuff and connecting a dApp. So if you're going to be buying Hex or whatever, I'm not telling you should or shouldn't do any of this stuff. I'm just saying if you are going to put money in this stuff, do it with a new wallet. That way, if any of the dApps you connect to are malicious, they can't steal your money except what money you put in them afterwards. They can't never, ever use your sacrifice wallet for pretty much anything. There's very, very few exceptions to do, but do not use it to connect to websites and stuff. Just don't do that. If you are wondering how to buy Hex W, at least, one of the ways I've seen to do it is if you want to get ETH on Coinbase, so you can get ETH on. This is just like for anyone wondering how to do it. Get ETH on Coinbase. Go to, for example, changenow.io. It seems fine. Again, I'm not vouching for them or anything, but it seems like they got their stuff together, at least for now. They could get hacked any day, but like I've heard of people using them and having a good experience. Then select the number of ETH you want to turn to EthW. I made a tweet on this too. I'll post in the chat. And then tell them the wallet that you want the EthW to go to, the address of it. And then you can connect that new wallet, for example, on KyberSwap. Again, KyberSwap could get hacked at any moment, whatever. But like at the moment, seems like it works. Seems like they do what they say they're going to do. And then you can swap EthW into Hex or Hex W. So let me find a tweet. Did I have a tweet on that somewhere? Let me find it just to give you some more precise instructions. If you're interested in doing it. Again, I'm not promoting anyone to do it. I'm just saying this is the way that I've seen people do it. And it's the most, you're dealing with the least amount of random dApps possible. So if you're going to do it, at least use the ones that a lot of people have used before. And so, you have less risk of stuff going wrong. So I think that's it for me. yeah, I'll just come up with 2 trivia questions for tomorrow. If we do another giveaway at 11 a.m. Pacific time, 2 p.m. Eastern, or 10:30 or 11, one of those. And if someone who knows a lot about Hedron and Icosa shows up, know what I'm saying? Yeah, I think that, again, remind me if I skipped any of your questions, but I scrolled through. I don't think I did. Where is kind of wonder what you alluded to. Yeah, I think I covered them all. Win. You know what time it is. Well, it's time for me to go. But I may be back here tomorrow with a guest. We shall see. Again, everyone, give a shout out to Rothko for donating his winning NFT to the next one. And I'll get a couple trivia questions ready for the next time we do it. And I will be giving away 2 lots of NFTs the next time we do it. So there we go. Everyone, thank him for that altruistic act there. Pretty cool. He wants to spread the love, spread the WhatsApp around. Guy wants to buy a diamond ring for herself or significant other. That's cool too. I like it. What is this one? Is that a lasso? He's going to lasso a very beautiful partner, perhaps. I don't know. It could be. Or maybe he wants to lasso Rothko and give him a hug, a very nice hug, a manly hug. I assume you're both men. So very nice platonic hug there. Anyways, everyone, I'll get off here before I keep saying dumb stuff. You're very welcome, everyone. If you have any other questions, again, hit me up on Twitter. If you have something you just can't figure out the right answer to, you can't find any good material to explain how something works, just message me on Twitter, tag me on Twitter, @ me on Twitter. Just be like, hey, I can't understand how this works. And I'll go and try to find a video or a blog that tells you how it works. Or if I've written about it before, of course, I reference my own stuff. So thanks to you, Big Kahuna. Appreciate you showing up. Like, subscribe, smash all the buttons, hit all the bells, and have yourself an amazing weekend out there, because we are out. Oh, also, so I keep forgetting to say this. I need to here's what I want to end on this. I want to end on and until next time, Sci-Vibe and 5555.